Auditor General Daniel Domelevo has described as unacceptable the expenditure of half of the revenue that accrues to the state on less than 1 million government employees. The situation, he says, does not leave enough to cater for the needs of a remainder of the population numbering over 27 million. At a meeting with the audit service on Monday in Cape Coast in the central region, Mr. Domelevo also criticized the retired public servants who are retained as contract staff for contributing to the bloated public sector wage bill and the country's high unemployment rate. Now, former CEO of the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, Daniel Seddoh, has indicated the need to stop over-depending on government and create jobs. Dr. Seddoh believes Ghanaians need to be ready to serve the country.
If we're planning ourselves and doing things right, the older people at a certain point should exit, probably even at age 50, set up their own businesses to be able to employ the younger ones. Probably because our succession planning is not good enough, and the way we develop ourselves is also not good enough, and we have the entitlement mentality and the fear factor that we can go out there and do things for ourselves. That is why everybody thinks that it's government that must employ them. And even when they are 60, they still think that government must look after them. It's a canker. It's a thing that permeates our society, and we need to take another look at it. Another nation or another country. Before we give job to people, we must establish clearly that there's a need to employ that person, not because that person is entitled to employment. And before we assume roles, we must be proud to say we want to work and make a contribution to our society. So it's a mindset thing. And probably this is a time to go down to the lower level of education and inculcate in them the desire to serve Mother Ghana and the desire to earn salary. They should not be entitled to salary. They should be able to earn salary. So it's a conversation that we need to have and tell ourselves, look, we need to work hard and develop this country, that the idea of government looking after everybody will not serve us. And probably we need to engage the politicians also. When they mount the platform, they talk about creating jobs. But hey, where would the job be? The job should be in the private sector. And so we need to develop people in the private sector to create job opportunities for the younger ones. And even as we develop as human beings, we need to improve on our skills to be able to do things on our own and employ more people. So there's a fundamental problem which has to do with the economy, which has to do with our own mindset. And as we work on those things, probably in the future we'll make some strides. The truth of the matter is that as a people, we are not wired to be efficient. If you look at us carefully, critically, we are not efficient people. So whether the person is being productive, nobody cares. That is who we are. Again, we need to work on that. We need to understand that time is of the essence, resources of the essence. There's nothing that is in unlimited quantity. And so we need to look after the resources we have, including the human beings. We need to be trained to be efficient. That is our problem. We are not efficient as a people. From what the Auditor General said, if we have that number of people consuming 50% of our income, then you would expect the productivity will be fantastic and feed into the other things we do. But you don't see that. Again, if you study us as a people, you see that the public sector creates a huge level of inefficiency, which feeds into the private sector, which is a problem in itself. I think we need to sit down and engage ourselves and sort out this issue of inefficiencies. The government want to deliver on its mandate, and they do not think certain class of people would help them do that. Now, if they move on to bring in new people, one would expect that the results will show and justify that. But if the result doesn't justify that, then we'll have a problem. The second side of the issue has to do with trust. Now, if we develop a public sector that is neutral, that will be able to serve any government that comes into power, then we wouldn't have these kind of problems. I do not also want to believe that it has to do with job for the boys, but sincerely, it has to do with trust. Who is it that will go the extra mile for me and help me get things done? Again, it has to do also with the way we develop ourselves. If you are really, really, really good, I'm sure when governments come, it'll be difficult for them to push you aside. So a combination of things. But the bottom line is to say, what is the best way to do things and get an ultimum result for us as a people? That is where we are lacking. We are not getting the best of results. We still are people who perform averagely and celebrate that level of performance. It's not the Auditor General that employs these people. Where are their managers? Are we assessing their managers? If we are assessing their managers, we should be able to tell them that you're not doing well based on the number of staff you have. And we should be dealing with their managers, not the staff themselves. Somebody opened the door for them to get in. Let's deal with that person. The public service should work with managers who should tell themselves they want to make the Auditor General's role redundant by doing the right thing. If they do the right things, there's no need for the Auditor General to come screaming at anybody. It's because they are doing the wrong thing. That is why the Auditor General is screaming. We shouldn't make his work difficult. Let's set out to do what is right.